Let's leave emotion out of this. Let's take a look at the firm and fair perspective on single mothers. But before we get into that, give me the 3 freebies. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm your host for the Firm and Fair podcast, The Spencer Perspective, and we have work to do. So, if you are of the Firm and Fair philosophy, there are 10 tenets. The 4, the 3, the 2, and then the 1. We're going to use the 4, which are the lenses. We have to take a look at single mothers and the dating cosm, and we have to apply 4 different points of views, 4 lenses, to truly understand the nature of this relationship, to understand the value in which they bring and the value in which they take away. We have to leave emotion out of this. If you take away the emotion, what are you left with? You're left with what's truly important in this type of situation. So, if this is your first episode of the Firm and Fair podcast, thank you for joining. But the 4 lenses are this. Traditional. Traditional is where we saw the highest success of men and women staying together in relationships for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 plus years. Contemporary. That's another lens. What's going on in this day and age? Things have changed, and we're talking like post 2010s, and maybe a little bit even further than that. We're talking like post feminism and all that good jazz. Then we have the other, logical. Logical removes all emotion and just brings in the situation from the best point of view that's logical. And then we also have Neolithic. Neolithic is caveman, cavewoman. What would happen with the same situation if there were no laws, no social construct, all biological imperatives? Let's break this down. So let's break it down from the first one, Neolithic. Do you think a single mom could have went up, a single cave woman with her litter coming up to another caveman, expecting that caveman to provide for her litter? No. This is what would have happened back in that time era. That caveman would have killed those children and then taken the mom for himself. That's what would have happened. So single mothers tend not to exist in that day and age. So it stands to reason that they didn't have a place in that society at that point in time. There were no laws, no police officers, no thought process of what's wrong or what's right. At that point in time, we were just animals. We still are. It's just that we have a lot of social constructs in between that point in views. So I think we've covered Neolithic, right? Single women or single mothers did not fit in that lens. Let's go with contemporary, because this is what's most important as of right now, nowadays. So I'm not going to give my opinion on this whatsoever, but we're seeing the highest level of single motherhood in this day and age. And the year is currently 2022 for all those watching from the future. But we're seeing the highest level of single motherhood, and then also the highest level of men and women not being able to be with each other for some reason due to societal constructs not meshing with biological imperatives. So for what it's worth, there are some single moms that are finding happiness, but for the most part, men are becoming self-aware, and they're asking themselves, why would they take a raw deal? Why would they take a raw deal where, they're wanting to be with that woman, but she comes with not baggage, but a package. But it's a package that she sees value in. It's a package that will cost that man. And a man that's smart and self-aware and also has emotional responsibility is asking himself that question. Why would he take on a relationship where he has to take care of the child of another man, especially if that man is nowhere to be seen in that child's life whatsoever? It's not conducive to the mission where he wants to take care of himself, because why would he want to take care of a woman and a child when the priority will never shift towards him? That child will always receive the priority from the mother. He will try and prioritize that mother, but who will the mother always prioritize? The child. Maybe the dogs, her job, and then him. So it kind of stands to reason that even in that sense, it doesn't truly fit. So on a contemporary basis, in some situations, single mothers will find what they need and what they're looking for. But they have to understand and become self-aware of what that man is taking on. If you can do that, then you will be able to provide value to that man and be able to shift priorities so that he understands that he's just as important as what he's taking on, which is you and the child. Let's go with logic. Logic removes all emotion, removes all love from every single thing. So let's get to it. Think about it this way. And this is for ladies, this is for single moms, this is for anyone that's kind of currently in that kind of space, which I kind of am as well too, because I'm a father, but I'm no longer with the mother of my child. So she is indeed a single mom, but she's remarried. So, I'm happy for her, all that good jazz. But let's just say if you're not one of those women that are lucky enough to remarry, would you take on a contract where in order to start this contract, you have to fulfill someone else's contract? You have to actually pay for it. No guarantee that your contract's going to get fulfilled, but you have to take care of that contract before you can even start signing on your own contract. That's what it means logically. Would you take on a job where they pay you for one job sometimes, but the other job, you have to do that completely for free? That's what it means when a man takes on a single mom. He has to do not only the job of the other man completely for free, and it costs him actually, even worse, it costs him. He might not even get to have children with you if you're done with having children. And even then and there, you still hold the right to get rid of him, to remove him, to no longer have him in your life if you so see fit. Mind you, he might actually build an emotional attachment to this child. A man that's smart enough, he's like, why would I actually take on that risk? That's the logic. Now, let's take a look at the last lens, which is very important as well too. Traditional. Traditionally speaking, this is what would happen if a woman came up as a single mom. She wouldn't. She would get sent to a whole nother town. The child would be removed from her, either taken care of by the grandparents and raised literally as a sibling, or to the orphanage that child goes because that child has been born out of wedlock, which was dangerous back in the day. I won't go too deep into details about it, but just think. Think about it on a traditional basis. If a child had no mom or father, it spoke to the community itself. That's why they say it takes a village. The village started with the mother and father, though, but it still takes a village. So single moms did not fit in the traditional lens as well, too. So if we're going to take the firm and fair perspective on single motherhood, you need to become self-aware, ladies. You have to. You have to understand what that man is taking on, and you have to show him the proper amount of appreciation for what he's taking on. Take this lesson to heart if you can. Open your eyes, open your hearts, open your ears, so that you can start doing better. We will also start doing better. We all will. This is the Firm and Fair Podcast. I'm your host, The Spencer Perspective, and I'm out.